this video, we are going to look into understanding perfect squares and square roots. And the easiest way is to start with an example. So this right here is known as a square root. That check mark that you almost look at, that's the actual name. It's called a square root, and it's read as the square root of 9. Now, it's special because it's almost like directions. When we see this notation, it's really asking us to think of a square. In this case, it's saying, what if I gave you a square that had area 9? What's the root? What's the foundation? So in other words, what I mean is when I look at this square, how do I know it's a square? Well, of course, you know that it's a square because it's 3 by 3. The side lengths are all equal. So that's the root of the square. That's what makes it a square, those equivalent lengths. Which means the square root of 9 is 3, because 3 times 3 gives me that area 9. That's the concept of a square root. It's really, we're looking at that foundational piece. What multiplied by itself gave us that number? So for instance, if I was asked the square root of 25, in my mind, yes, I'm still picturing a square. And this time, the area is 25. But I'm really in my mind saying, what multiplied by itself is going to give me 25? Because I know it's a square, which means that those side lengths have to be equivalent. Well, in this case, my side lengths are 5. So I know that 5 multiplied by 5 will give me that 25 for a total area. In other words, the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 36. If I'm trying to answer this one, yes, in my mind I'm visualizing that square that has an area of 36, but I'm really asking myself, what's the side length? What number multiplied by itself would give me that 36? Well, in this case, the side length is 6. 6 times 6 would give me 36. So the square root of 36 is 6. You can use this concept for everything. If I have the square root of 100, in my mind I'm saying what number multiplied by itself is 100. And we would say, perfect, 10. If I looked at 64, I'm saying the square root of 64 equals what? What number multiplied by itself is 64? And we would say 8. 8 times 8 will give me 64. This last one is no different. Now I have a negative square root of 81. Don't worry about the negative. It's just saying that our answer is going to be a negative value. But again, I have the square root of 81. What number multiplied by itself gives me 81? Perfect, 9. Which means in this case, because it's a negative version, it's going to be negative 9. Now all of these examples are considered perfect squares because we made an easy square, 10 by 10, 8 by 8, and then in this case 9 by 9. So anytime you hear the phrase perfect square, it's just that number that's underneath the radical happens to be where we can build a complete square using that value. And that's it. That's a perfect square.